My name is David. I am 50 years old. I live for performance, and I absolutely refuse to accept the tired, weak label that society tries to slap on guys my age. I pump iron in my garage gym every single morning. I run my life with endless energy, and I honestly believe that our best days are built, not behind us. But a few years ago, I hit a brutal wall. I was putting in the work, lifting the heavy weights, doing everything right by the book, but my body felt like it was breaking down. I felt it deep in my joints. I saw it looking back at me in the mirror. My muscles were shrinking, my recovery was completely shot, and my energy was tanking fast. If you are also tired of watching your hard-earned muscle melt away as you get older, and you want to learn how I completely reversed my muscle loss using specific foods that outperform eggs, hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Let us get stronger together. You see, I always thought I was doing everything perfectly right. I was chasing that classic American dream of health and longevity. I worked hard all day, provided for my family, and hit the iron in my home gym without fail. I ate my eggs every single morning, just like my dad did, just like my grandfather did before him. I believed eggs were the absolute gold standard for protein. But here is what shocked me to my core. I went to get my blood markers checked because I felt so unusually weak. I was talking to a top specialist, and he told me about a 92-year-old patient of his who just gained 3 solid pounds of muscle in 8 weeks. She did not just maintain her weight. She actually gained real functional muscle. And the crazy part? She did it without eating a single egg. I sat there in the office, a 50-year-old man who prides himself on brute strength and endurance, and I honestly felt ashamed. How was a 92-year-old woman building more muscle than me? That is exactly when I learned the harsh truth about what happens to us as we age. Right now, your muscles are in a constant, brutal battle. Every second of the day, they are either building up or breaking down. After age 30, the breakdown starts winning. By the time we hit 60, it accelerates out of control. By 90, most people have lost half their muscle mass. I felt that exact shift happening inside my own body. The older I got, the more protein I needed, but the harder it became for my body to actually use it. It is like needing way more fuel for your truck, just as the engine becomes completely inefficient and clogged up. The scientists call this anabolic resistance. It is the exact reason why your grandfather's old diet will not work for maintaining your muscle today. I refuse to accept this decline. I do not accept less than my absolute best potential. That is not how I am wired. So, I started testing the exact protocol that the doctor gave me. I discovered that certain proteins can actually bypass this anabolic resistance entirely. They contain specific compounds that flip molecular switches in your body that eggs simply cannot touch. Do not get me wrong here. I am not saying eggs are garbage. They have 6 grams of perfect protein and all the essential amino acids. But as we age, we need a lot more than just complete protein to survive and thrive. I realized my body needed proteins that actively fight inflammation while building muscle at the same time. I needed proteins that improve insulin sensitivity. I needed proteins that come packed with specific vitamins that literally amplify muscle synthesis. Eggs fall incredibly short in 3 massive areas for us older guys. First, they totally lack the omega-3 content we need to fight off deep muscle inflammation. Second, they do not give us the vitamin D our aging bodies are craving. Third, and this is the really big one, they just do not have enough leucine. Leucine is the specific amino acid that acts like a key to unlock muscle growth in an aging body. Think of it like this. If building muscle after 50 is like trying to start a stubborn, cold lawnmower in your yard, eating eggs is like giving it a gentle, weak pull. But the foods I started eating? They are like using a high-powered electric starter. The first one dissolves in water and goes to work in just 60 minutes. Honestly, I was extremely skeptical at first, but I went out and bought high-quality whey protein. This is the exact stuff that helped that 92-year-old build muscle faster than guys my age. When I read the medical studies from McMaster University comparing whey to egg protein in older adults, the results were so crazy they had to repeat the study twice just to be sure. The people taking whey gained double the muscle mass. Double. I wanted that power. I needed that power. But here is the truly fascinating part. It was not just about the total amount of protein in the scoop. It was about the raw speed. As we get older, we develop what I call a narrowing anabolic window. When I was 20, my muscles could use protein for hours and hours after a big meal. Now, at 50, my muscles need a massive, rapid spike in amino acids to trigger any growth at all. Whey protein hits the bloodstream in 60 minutes flat. Eggs take 3 to 4 long hours to digest. By the time the eggs finally kick in, my aging muscles have already missed their window of opportunity. Plus, whey has that secret weapon I mentioned earlier, leucine. Eggs only have 1.3 grams per serving. My whey protein packs a massive 2.5 grams. After 50, you need exactly 3 grams of leucine to flip that muscle-building switch on. With eggs, I would have to eat 5 of them in one single sitting just to trigger growth. With whey, I just use 1.5 scoops in my shaker bottle. The branched-chain amino acids in whey work together like a highly trained rescue team for your body. Leucine signals the growth. Isoleucine pulls glucose in for pure energy. Valine completely stops the muscle breakdown during my heavy home gym sessions. I literally felt the difference in my recovery time. My gut stopped hurting too, because whey has unique immunoglobulins that reduce the gut inflammation that blocks protein absorption. I started mixing my whey protein isolate with cold water, a massive handful of frozen berries, and a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon every single morning. The antioxidants in the berries protect the delicate amino acids, and the cinnamon improves my insulin sensitivity by up to 20%. I drink it within 30 minutes of mixing it. I felt my energy surge like a teenager again. My skin changed. My muscles felt dense and full again. But that was just the morning routine. Let me explain what I do at night. If whey works in 60 minutes, I needed something that kept working for 8 straight hours while I slept in my bed. I found my ultimate secret weapon right in the dairy aisle: cottage cheese. You see, while you are sleeping, your muscles are starving. They literally cannibalize themselves for fuel to keep your body alive. It is called overnight catabolism, and it gets so much worse as we age. I used to wake up feeling flat, stiff and weak, realizing I had lost hard-earned muscle mass overnight that I might never get back. Now, I eat cottage cheese right before my head hits the pillow. It is almost pure casein protein. When it hits your stomach, it forms a thick gel. That gel releases amino acids drop by drop, hour by hour, all night long. I read about Dutch researchers who gave older adults cottage cheese before bed, and their muscles kept building all through the night. But the magic goes way deeper than just the protein content. I noticed very quickly that I was sleeping so much better. Casein protein has bioactive peptides that naturally lower blood pressure and massively improve sleep quality. Better sleep means my body releases more natural growth hormone, which directly builds the muscle back up. It is a massive chain reaction of recovery. But here is what really changed the game for my brute strength. Cottage cheese is loaded with selenium. A huge percentage of older guys are completely deficient in selenium, and it directly causes muscle weakness. When I started eating 1 cup of cottage cheese a night, my strength in the garage gym came roaring back within a few short weeks. It also has a massive amount of calcium. Calcium does not just build your bones, it fires your muscle contractions. Low calcium means weak lifts, no matter how big your arms look in the mirror. It also has B12 and phosphorus, which my cells use to produce pure ATP energy. I do not even cook it. I just mix it with ground flax for omega-3s, some crushed walnuts for blood flow, and a little vanilla extract for taste. I wake up feeling incredibly strong, with zero stiffness, and totally energized for the day. I felt it deep in my bones. Now wait until you hear about what I started buying at the local fish market. I started eating wild-caught Alaskan salmon. This fish literally has a molecule inside it that makes your muscles younger. It does not just feed your muscles, it renovates them at the deepest cellular level. I am not just talking about the 22 grams of protein per serving, although that certainly helps. I am talking about the heavy-duty omega-3 fatty acids that actually reverse age-related muscle damage. In our aging bodies, chronic inflammation slowly destroys our muscles from the inside out. It is exactly like rust accumulating on a classic car engine. I felt that rust grinding in my shoulders every single time I did a heavy push-up. Eggs absolutely cannot stop that rust. But the EPA and DHA in wild salmon act like WD-40 for your joints and your muscles. When I started eating salmon 3 times a week, my muscles actually became more sensitive to all the other protein I was eating all day long. The omega-3s completely reversed my anabolic resistance. The science behind it is awesome. The omega-3s actually merge into your muscle cell membranes, making them fluid and highly responsive to growth signals. They activate the master regulator of muscle growth while shutting down the inflammatory markers that cause breakdown. Plus, wild salmon is packed with vitamin D. Most of us older guys are completely deficient in it. Fixing my vitamin D deficit increased my raw functional strength by 20%. But you know what surprised me most of all? The pink color of the salmon. That is astaxanthin. It is a crazy powerful antioxidant that specifically protects the mitochondria in your muscles. Your cellular power plants shut down one by one as you age. This pink compound keeps them running hot. I noticed my endurance went straight through the roof. I could lift longer, work longer in the yard, and I did not feel that brutal, lingering fatigue afterward. Astaxanthin is 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C at fighting the free radicals that damage muscle tissue during a hard workout. I always buy wild-caught. Farmed salmon is weak. It lacks the vitamin D and uses fake color instead of the real astaxanthin. I bake it slowly with fresh lemon juice because the vitamin C from the lemon protects the delicate omega-3s and helps my body absorb the iron from the fish. My body felt clean. The rust was finally gone. I also discovered a tiny plant that costs pennies and never spoils in the cupboard. Hemp seeds. I keep a big bag in my pantry right next to my protein shakers. Just 3 simple tablespoons give me 10 grams of complete protein that my 50-year-old body actually prefers over whole eggs. The protein in hemp seeds is called edestin. It is almost exactly identical to the proteins found in human blood plasma. My body recognizes it instantly. There is absolutely no digestive stress. It is like speaking my muscles' native language. But the real power is the fat profile. Hemp seeds have a perfect 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Eggs have a terrible 20-to-1 ratio that actually causes rampant inflammation in older guys. The gamma-linolenic acid in hemp seeds wiped out my muscle soreness. I used to ache for days after a heavy leg workout. Now my recovery time is cut right in half. Hemp seeds also have massive amounts of arginine. Arginine opens up your blood vessels wide. As we get older, our circulation gets worse, slowly starving our muscles of oxygen. Arginine fixes that immediately. It pumps the nutrients right where they need to go, and it strongly stimulates growth hormone release. Plus, the high magnesium in hemp seeds stopped my muscle cramps instantly. I sprinkle these little seeds on absolutely everything. My morning oatmeal, my lunch salads, you name it. They taste nutty and require 0 preparation. I just started with 1 tablespoon to let my digestion adapt to the fiber, and now they are an unbreakable staple in my daily routine. I felt my daily endurance climb higher and higher. Let me tell you about another staple sitting in my fridge right now: Greek yogurt. This is not just a protein snack, it is a complete muscle-building ecosystem. 1 cup gives me up to 25 grams of protein, but the real magic is the trillions of active probiotics. I learned that guys who live past 100 with unusual thick muscle mass all eat fermented dairy every day. The probiotics reduce the systemic inflammation that wrecks older muscle tissue. The specific bacteria in Greek yogurt produce enzymes that break the protein down into tiny bioactive peptides. It increases muscle synthesis by 20% on its own. It is all about the gut-muscle connection. Bad gut bacteria produce toxic compounds that break down muscle. Greek yogurt sends in a microscopic security team to protect my biceps from the inside. It also gives me vitamin K2, which regular eggs do not have. K2 improves my insulin sensitivity. Because the yogurt is completely fermented, the protein comes pre-digested. My stomach acid is not as strong as it was when I was 20, so regular eggs sometimes sit heavy like a brick in my gut. Greek yogurt absorbs instantly. I always buy the full-fat version. The fat helps absorb the critical vitamins, and the extra calories stop me from losing mass when I am working a busy, stressful 12-hour day. I mix it with flax, walnuts, and a single teaspoon of raw honey. The honey has natural enzymes that make the digestion even better. I eat it mid-morning, and I feel like an absolute machine. I know exactly what you are thinking right now. What about plant proteins? People always say they are not complete or they do not build real muscle. I used to believe that exact same myth. But lentils completely proved me wrong. I buy them for 50 cents a cup, and they pack 18 heavy grams of protein. But it is the 16 grams of fiber that blew my mind. That fiber feeds my gut bacteria, which then produce a compound called butyrate. That butyrate reduces my internal inflammation and stabilizes my blood sugar perfectly. Lentils have resistant starch. My body actually burns more calories just digesting them, which keeps me totally lean while I build solid muscle. I never get that soft, puffy, bloated look anymore. Lentils are loaded with folate and iron. I was shocked to learn that without folate, your muscles literally cannot build new proteins at the DNA level. The iron helps my muscles store maximum oxygen so I can push way harder during my home workouts. I squeeze fresh lemon on my lentils to boost the iron absorption by 300%. They cook in 20 short minutes. I eat them, and I feel incredibly grounded. I feel the clean fuel pumping in my veins. I always pair those lentils with quinoa. Quinoa is an absolute beast of a plant protein. It breaks all the rules because it actually has all 9 essential amino acids, but it also delivers huge amounts of magnesium and manganese. The manganese specifically protects my muscles from the deep damage I do to them when I train hard. Quinoa gives me sustained, steady energy with zero crashing blood sugar spikes. I started cooking my quinoa in real bone broth instead of plain water. That one trick right there doubles the protein content and adds natural collagen for my aging joints. My knees used to pop and crack loudly every time I walked down the basement stairs. Once I started the bone broth quinoa, that noise stopped completely. I felt solid and stable again. Honestly, nobody tells you this stuff when you get older. The doctors just tell you to eat less, take your pills and take it easy. I absolutely refuse to take it easy. It is not about finding one single perfect food. It is about creating a powerful system where all these foods work together. Let me walk you through my exact daily routine, the precise one that brought my brute strength roaring back. I wake up early, and I hit my garage gym hard. I use heavy resistance bands and my old dumbbells. Nothing crazy heavy that will snap a tendon, but I push my limits until I sweat. Right after, I drink my cold whey protein mixed with berries and cinnamon. That fast leucine hits my torn muscles, while the blood flow is totally maximized from the workout. By mid-morning, I am working at my desk, and I eat my full-fat Greek yogurt with flax and walnuts. The probiotics are actively protecting the muscle I just broke down. For lunch, I have my big lentil and quinoa bowl cooked in bone broth, maybe with one soft-boiled egg just for the extra amino acid complement. The massive fiber keeps me full, focused, and lean. In the mid-afternoon, when most guys are crashing, I have a small scoop of cottage cheese and a square of dark chocolate. The dark chocolate opens up my blood vessels even more for the rest of the day. For dinner, it is my wild-caught salmon with sweet potatoes and roasted broccoli. I purposefully eat the sweet potato first to tightly control my insulin spike. Finally, right before bed, I have my big bowl of cottage cheese mixed with almond butter. The slow casein feeds my muscles all night long while I sleep deeply. I have made this my permanent lifestyle, and I have 10 strict, non-negotiable rules I live by to maintain my edge at 50. Rule 1. I never go more than 4 hours without eating protein. My body cannot store it like it used to, so I keep the supply constant. Rule 2. I always pair my protein with anti-inflammatory foods. Rule 3. I calculate my leucine. I make absolutely sure I hit that 3-gram mark every single meal. Rule 4. I eat my biggest protein meal right after I lift weights or do heavy yard work. Rule 5. I eat fermented foods every single day to protect my gut health. Rule 6. I never ever restrict my calories. Starving yourself after 50 is just suicide for your muscles. Rule 7. I hydrate aggressively. I drink half my body weight in ounces of water every day without fail. Dehydration directly destroys muscle tissue. Rule 8. I strictly time my slow protein for night and my fast protein for the morning. Rule 9. I got my blood checked and completely fixed my vitamin D and magnesium deficits. Rule 10. I move my body every single day. Eating protein without moving the iron is completely useless. I know some guys get frustrated and say it takes too long to see results. Look, after 50, it takes about 6 to 8 steady weeks to see the actual mass pack on your frame. But the raw strength? I felt the strength come back in just 10 days. If you feel bloated at first, just slow down. Let your gut bacteria adapt to the real food. And do not ever tell me it is too expensive to eat like this. Lentils and cottage cheese cost way less than a greasy combo meal at a fast food drive-thru. If you are not lifting yet, start today. You do not need a fancy, expensive gym membership. Grab some cheap bands, do some bodyweight push-ups, just move your body. Every single day you wait, you are losing muscle you will never get back. You could lose 1 full % of your muscle mass every single month. I looked that grim reality right in the face, and I said absolutely no. I took complete control of my health. The exact foods I just shared with you are sitting in your local grocery store right now, waiting for you. Your muscles do not know how old you are on your driver's license. They only know exactly what you feed them and exactly how hard you push them. I changed my meals, and I completely changed the entire trajectory of my life. I am stronger right now at 50 than I ever was 10 years ago. You are not too old. It is absolutely not too late. Your body is waiting for you to step up, to feed it right, and to build a bold future where getting older means getting tougher. Where 70 or 80 means total independence and raw, unstoppable vitality. I want you to make one single change today. Just add one of these power proteins to your daily routine. Your future self is depending on the specific decisions you make right now, today, in this very moment. I want to build a massive community of hard-working people who refuse to surrender to time and age. I want you to drop a comment below right now and type, "I am strong." Say it and truly mean it. This is David reminding you that your strongest days are not in the rearview mirror. They are right in front of you, waiting for you to build them. The only question left is, are you willing to put in the work? Start today. Start your transformation with your very next meal.